Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that have shaped today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our video podcast. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's the 150th episode, and we're going to be talking about current events, and my sister will be popping in and do a segment with me that went long, but I mean, it couldn't be a 150 episode without my sister joining us. But that's enough of this intro. Let's actually get to the show. So we had something pretty significant happen this past weekend, and I'm going to get into that. There'll be a discussion about it with my sister, obviously, to get her thoughts. And then we'll have some humor at the end, but we need to address some real issues. This wasn't what I had planned for the 150th episode, but I feel like this is important. So I actually took the time to write. I haven't done it in a while. I did say at one point I was going to have a segment called Reading, where every now and then I was going to write, because I was writing for a blog, or our blog on our website. It's up there if y'all want to read some of my work. But I decided that I wanted to tackle this very important current issue by addressing several different things. And hey, y'all know I'm not a great orator. Like, I stumble, I stutter, these things happen. And I know what I want to say at the end. I know the end point of everything that I want to say, but sometimes getting to it, I go around the circles and I may lose you guys from time to time. And I didn't want to lose you guys. I want to remain focused in the point that I'm trying to get off. So I wrote that a blog that I'm going to put up that will be on the website when this show airs and releases, so everybody can read it and can share it. I'm going to read it to you. It's not going to be word for word. I'm going to throw some ad libs in there. Not a whole lot, because I wrote this in a manner of which I'm tackling a serious issue, but I mean, I got to have some jokes in there. I just have to. So this first segment is me reading, and then the second and third segments will be segments with my sister that we're going to be filming. Now, if you want to hear the unsolicited version of what me and my sister think of the current events that we are going to be addressing in this episode, but you want to hear the uncensored version, that came out yesterday. If you go on our Patreon page, patreon.com/unsolicited perspectives, the After Hours Uncensored, we continue on the conversation of what we're going to be talking about during this show, but it's uncensored. So some things that we can't say on the main show, we say on that show. So if you're interested, go ahead and join our Patreon page. But let me go ahead and start this reading segment. All right. Gather around, folks, because today we're diving into a wild, wonderful, and often ridiculous world of the President of the United States. Yeah, that's right. The big cheese, the head honcho, the commander of chaos. We're talking about the person sitting in the Oval Office, making decisions that affect us while dodging scandals like they're in the political matrix. Now, why is this job so important? Let me break it down for you. The president isn't just a figurehead who smiles for cameras and pardons turkeys. No. This person's the head of the executive branch, the commander-in-chief, and supposedly the leader of the free world. Basically, they're like the principal of a very dysfunctional high school where half the students are plotting a coup and the other half are just trying to pass gym class. But hold up, let's rewind. The framers of the Constitution, those powdered, wig-wearing fellas, decided we needed a president and not a king. And why? Because they had just dumped the king. King George III was about as popular as a skunk at a garden party. They didn't want to trade one tyrant for another. Instead, they created a balanced system where no one person could hog all the power and start naming themselves His Majesty and demanding you kiss their ring. Enter the system of checks and balances. Think of it like a game of rock, paper, scissors, but with vetoes, override, and judicial reviews. The president can veto laws, but Congress can come back with, nah, son, and override that veto with two-thirds majority. The judiciary can declare laws unconstitutional, giving both the president and the Congress the finger if they start acting crazy. It's a beautiful choreographed dance of democracy, and sometimes, as in recent years, it's a political cage match. Now let's talk about some of the all-star presidents who have occupied this high-pressure office. First up, George Washington, the OG of the White House. He set the stage by creating a cabinet and stepping down after 2 terms. He's basically like, all right, I'm gonna head out. Don't get too comfortable in this chair. Then there's Abe Lincoln, who kept the nation together during the Civil War and emancipated the slaves. Now, some of those slaves didn't get freedom until 2 years after the end of the Civil War, but old Abe had gotten taken out like Omar from The Wire not too long after the war had ended, so that ain't on him. Fast forward to Franklin D. Roosevelt, who served 4 terms. That's right, 4. Bro was like, 3 terms? Hold my black and mild. I'm gonna run this back one more again. His New Deal helped drag the country out of the Great Depression, and he set up Social Security, making sure all grumpy old people had something to complain about every month. But let's not forget Lyndon B. Johnson. That's Baines, if you're nasty. My favorite president. This guy gave us the Great Society legislation, including civil rights laws, Medicare, and Medicaid. LBJ was like, I see your social issues and I raise you comprehensive reforms. His term was like 4.5 mic rating from the source. He doesn't get the 5 mic check because, that whole Vietnam thing. Now, why doesn't the president have absolute power? Because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we don't want the White House turning into the next episode of Game of Thrones. The founding fathers were like, let's make sure no one turns this place into medieval fiefdom. They were serious about keeping it democratic. The president's powers are limited by design. We've got this nifty thing called federalism, where power is shared between the federal government and the states. It's like a giant game of tug of war, but instead of mud, we get bureaucratic red tape. But that just keeps things spicy. And then there's a system of checks and balances. Congress can impeach the president. The president can veto Congress. The Supreme Court can tell both of them to take a hike if they start acting up. It's like a high-stakes political soap opera, but with less hair pulling and more filibuster. But I'm going to take a 90-degree turn and hit another subject. Let's be real. In America today, safety is a full-time job. We got to talk about the shootings and the mass shootings in this country, y'all. I mean, it feels like every other day there's another tragedy. Columbine, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook, Las Vegas Strip, Pulse Nightclub, Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, Tops Friendly Markets in Buffalo, those beautiful babies at Evada Elementary School. Each time we hear the same thing, thoughts and prayers. We've sent out so many thoughts and prayers we could open up our own Hallmark store. And the whole gun control debate. Man, this country loves its guns. We got more guns than people. You ever meet these gun fanatics? They treat their guns like their own kids. Some of them love their guns more than their kids. Hell, your kids act up, they get grounded. The guns act out, it gets a nice little cleaning. Priorities, right? Let's talk about Republicans. Man, they love guns. They love guns more than Kanye loves Kanye. And that's saying something. They always talking about the Second Amendment rights. Don't take away my guns. All right, man. All right. Nobody's coming for your guns, Rambo. Chill. They always say guns don't kill people. People kill people. Yeah, sure. But you never hear about a mass stabbing at a distance, do you? You don't see someone crossing the room like, oh, he's got a knife, unless he's Wolverine. But that's a whole separate issue. And then there's the NRA. Well, these guys are something else. They're like, we don't need more. They're like, we need more guns to protect ourselves from bad guys with guns. So let me get this straight. The solution to gun violence is more guns. That's like saying the solution to obesity is more donuts and Popeye's chicken. That's crazy. But you know what's even crazier? These politicians. They send out thoughts and prayers like they're handing out candy on Halloween. Thoughts and prayers. Like that's going to stop a bullet. Hey, thoughts and prayers, maybe a bullet will curve. When the founding fathers wrote the Second Amendment, there was no national army. Our defense was made up of militias. We didn't create a national army until after the War of 1812. That's why the Second Amendment talks about a well-regulated militia. That's all we had to defend the country. The founding fathers were talking about muskets, y'all. A musket. You had to load that thing like it was a damn IKEA dresser. Ain't nobody gonna do a drive-by with a musket. Ain't nobody got time for that. So what's the answer? Hell if I know. But I do know this. We need to stop acting like owning a gun is a sacred right. Start treating it as what it is, a responsibility. Because until we do, we're just going to keep going in circles like a dog chasing its tail. Or, in this case, a politician chasing an NRA donation. Now, this all leads me to the attempt on Donald J. Trump. First and foremost, I want to say that I'm happy he wasn't killed. I disagree with Trump on almost all of his principles in politics and life. However, I would never wish death on anyone. Well, just one of my clients, but that's it, and we ain't got to talk about that. I think of the people that would have lost their father, an uncle, a friend. This is not the first attempt on someone running for president, and unfortunately, it won't be the last. What we have to be thankful for is that the attacker did not succeed. I saw so many commenters and politicians saying that we need to tone down the political rhetoric. So let's talk about it, specifically the kind that comes from Donald Trump. Now, if you ever wonder what happens when you mix a Twitter account, Truth Social with a megaphone, this is it. This is your guy. This guy takes political language and turns it into a chaotic symphony. First off, Trump has a magical ability to make everything sound like it's the end of the world. He doesn't just disagree with people. He labels them as enemies of the people. I mean, there are folks out there who think LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. They couldn't be more wrong than flat earthers. But just because I don't agree with them doesn't mean I call them enemies of the people. Then there was January 6th, right? Y'all remember that day? January 6th, when folks took storming the Capitol to a whole new level. They showed up thinking they were going to find some secret stash of democracy or something. And Trump was like, fight like hell. I mean, it's only time that you could say something like that and not be talking about a WWE match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. January 6th was more like a chaotic game of capture the flag. But the flag was the Constitution. And let's not forget the comments about immigrants. Calling them invaders is like saying your neighbor's dog is trying to take over your house because it barks too much. More specifically, my neighbor's dogs. But as I digress, making jokes, I'm not saying that there aren't issues at the border, but come on. These people are peaceful folk looking for a better life. America loves reality TV. Well, this is the most realistic reality show that there ever could be. It should be called Escape from Oppression, or better yet, Escape from Oppression that the U.S. has caused by its constant interference in political elections. Yeah, these people are escaping from some shit that we started, but y'all don't want to hear me though. Y'all don't want to talk about that. But here's the kicker. Trump's rhetoric has made political violence feel more like an acceptable sport than an act of desperation. I mean, if you go on Twitter or Truth Social and you tell your followers to fight, you better believe someone's bringing a metaphorical sword to that debate. It's like inviting people to a cookout and serving up a side of potato salad with raisins in it. You're creating chaos. I'm making jokes, but let's remember words matter. They have the power to uplift or destroy. And while we can joke about it, it's a fine line we're walking here. Let's hope that we don't end up on the wrong side of history. So as promised, a little sibling happy hour on the Tuesday episode to celebrate our 150th. My sister Jay Andrea has taken the time out of her busy schedule to join us on a Tuesday to tackle 3 subjects. And as I said at the top of the hour or the top of the show, if you want to hear our unsolicited perspectives and uncensored, keyword uncensored perspectives of the assassination attempt on the former President Donald Trump, check out our After Hours Uncensored episode on our Patreon page that released yesterday. You can check it out at patreon.com/unsolicited perspectives. But Jay, welcome.
Yeah. I'm happy to be
Um,
here.
yeah, look, 150. We didn't made it.
We made it. Like that's
That's it. That's it.
that's it. And then where to go from here? Oh,
No.
I guess 151.
Well, yeah, 151 and then 300.
Which used to be my favorite alcohol.
That's
The
because you're
Bacardi 151. Yeah.
that's because you're a sociopath.
Yeah.
Would be drinking 151 just as
I'm
just gonna have me some 151.
At like 19.
I don't know. I go in the
crazy.
liquor store. I don't even know if they even sell that in a liquor store anymore.
I don't think they do.
I don't
banned in several countries.
A lot of stuff that we drank back in the day has been banned. Like Four
Yeah.
Loko. Try to find a Four Loko.
You can't do it.
No, you can't do it. All right, Jay. Before we get into the other subjects, what is your thoughts about the assassination attempt, former President Donald Trump?
Fake news. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. I was about to say.
It sure did look staged. Nobody ran. The Secret Service actually let him stop and put that fist up. It looked like ketchup on the side of his face. Like, okay, now we know there was a shooter. He was taken out by Secret Service.
Somebody else died.
Someone else died. Several people were injured. So we do know that it was an actual attempt on his, I guess, on his life.
It was an actual attempt.
Yeah, all right. And
Jay, stop. It was an actual attempt on his life.
Yeah, no, I know.
Remember, this is the main show. You can say which other stuff on Uncensored, but just remember.
Yeah. No, it sucks because we're never going to not hear about this. Like, we're going to hear about this forever. There's no way Trump is going to not have t-shirts. He's going to be coming out to, I don't know, 50 Cent music, maybe. Many men wish death upon me. Like, I feel like, of course, Black Twitter is already having a field day with this, but like, we're going to have to hear about this forever. This is definitely going to affect the election for him in a positive way. There are going to be people who are like, oh, look, see, they're scared of us. That means we're on the right track, you know? So that's definitely you're going to see a boost in his poll numbers. I saw one meme that said Biden, he got to come out as bi. Like, that's the only way.
I did see that.
You know, this is definitely ended up being a boon for him. I don't know if it was supposed to be. That's the thing. I really don't know we don't know what the intent of the shooter was, and we're never going to know now because he's dead unless he leaves something behind telling us what was the purpose for this, because as far as we know so far, he's a registered Republican. He's young. He's only 20 years old. I don't even think he's had an opportunity to vote in his first election yet.
If thinking he's about 20, it, then
he's 20 now. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't know yet. So I'm just glad, he's not Black.
Jesus. You're also glad that, like, never mind. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm not.
That he missed? I wish he had never taken the shot at all.
Yes. Wish death upon anybody.
Yeah, personally. No, listen, I wish he never taken the shot at all.
I got a former client I do wish death upon, but it's generally speaking, I don't wish death upon. I don't agree with his policies. I don't particularly like him as a person, but I didn't want him to be dead, unalived. I don't want him to be unalived. So,
yeah, I mean, we both want the same thing, but for different reasons. I think it would have been what it is, which is a political nightmare, to shoot at him and miss. And I mean, I wish he had never taken the shot at all and let us
Yeah.
just fight it out in November. Like, what are you even doing? And then you
Well,
injured innocent people in the process and killed somebody in the process. So it's like,
mhm.
I mean, of course, again, these AR style, AR-15 style rifles. Somebody, I mean, is anybody going to do anything about that? Probably not.
No, no,
You
they're
know
not
what I
gonna do anything
mean?
about that. No.
This was one of their own, a young white kid, Republican gun enthusiast. Like, this is one of their, what is the explanation for this? I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. I wish it didn't happen. I mean, this is just a nightmare
yeah,
because we're
yeah.
going
But
to hear about it.
there's a lot of time between now and November. You
Not
know,
enough.
it's almost 4 months away, a little less than 4 months away. So there's a lot in the political world. There's a million and one things that can happen between now and then. Um, so, but I mean, yeah, that's where we're at with that. In a very, very awkward detour, extremely awkward detour. You sent me something last week, a series with this woman on TikTok. Can you explain to the
Mhm.
audience what you sent me, and then we can talk about it?
So this young lady on TikTok has been married for several years, and she markets herself as a faith and marriage coach. Now, not counselor. You got to be very clear with your language because counselors require some sort of certification or education, but coaches don't. You can just say you're a coach. And there are so many people here in Atlanta. I don't know that this young lady is in Atlanta, but I know there's so many people here in Atlanta that love saying that they're life coaches and just buy my seminar and all this kind of thing. So this is a business, okay? So she gets on TikTok and she tells the story of how God restored her marriage.
Mhm.
And so everybody's tuned in to figure out what happened in your marriage. How did God restore it? We would love to hear a lovely testimony. This testimony was not lovely. So basically, what happened was she was married. She is married to this man. They are still married. And she got pregnant with their second child. And he was uninterested in her, uninterested in the marriage, uninterested in this new child. And he basically left her, abandoned her while she was pregnant to go and live with his girlfriend. And this woman, she peddles that kind of Christianity where abuse and self-sacrifice in women is what's next to godliness, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like, it's okay if you let people walk all over you, use and abuse you, abandon you. You should welcome them back with open arms, type of thing. Because be a Christian and forgive. So he's gone the entire pregnancy up to the day she gives birth. She sends him a sonogram. He doesn't even reply. Like, they have no communication.
You're forgetting something very, very major when he's
Mhm.
gone. He's in another relationship.
Yeah, he left to live with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he was living with his mama. He wasn't living with the girlfriend. He was living with his mama.
You're right. He left. He leaves her. This is a woman that he works with that
Mhm.
he and that's they have their life now. The mama is telling her, the mother-in-law is telling her, he seems happy. They seem happy together. I don't know why she's still talking to this mother-in-law, but okay.
Because other people are not like us and emotionally cut off other people in their lives. Some people
Okay.
they have relationships with their in-laws, and no matter if the marriage ends, they still got a relationship with their in-laws.
Right. Sure. So well, no, we've seen it in our own family. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm a
that's
prime
true.
example of it. I still have a very good relationship with my former father-in-law.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yeah. And so up to the day she gives birth, her mother ends up calling him, like, hey, she's given birth. So he shows up at the hospital. They really don't talk to each other. He does hold her because the doctor asked him to when she's getting her epidural. But
Because
other
the
than that,
doctor
they
don't know that they're not together.
don't know that they're not together. Other than that, really no communication the whole time she's giving birth. Like that's probably the most awkward hospital room ever.
But
Okay.
you forgot to talk about her prophecy.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So this entire time that they've been apart, she's been having these in her mind prophetic dreams that God's gonna restore their marriage, and that's the dreams that she's having. That just just wait, I'll restore your marriage. So she's been having these quote unquote prophetic dreams and been watching stuff on YouTube from these quote unquote prophetic ministers saying, oh, something's gonna happen in 3 days. In 3 days, something's gonna happen. And what happened was she went into labor and the husband showed up. So in her mind, oh, now chances are something is gonna happen in 3 days. If I say that right now, that's not me being prophetic. That's just something's probably gonna happen in 3 days. You stub your toe, you get paid. I mean, anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So this, okay. But okay, for some reason, this person who pre-recorded this on YouTube was speaking prophecy over your specific life. Okay. Sure. So she has the baby. He's there for a little while. Then he gets a call. She sees on the, that it's the girlfriend, right? So he leaves because this girl is calling him, right?
This is the day that she gave birth.
Yes, this is the day after he'd been absent this entire time.
But he was there for the birth of the baby.
He was there for the birth of the baby only because her mother called him.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have known. Because she did not want her mother to call him.
This is true.
So I think it's like a couple days later or something. He wants to come by again for some reason. I can't remember what it was. But she says, oh, the Lord told me, just hug him. Just hug him. He needs a hug. And so he's about to leave and she goes up, she hugs him. And when somebody asks you, oh, what was that for? It was because they wasn't expecting it, honestly. Like, and it's
you hit that. Oh, what was that for?
Yeah, because the implication is that was weird. What'd you do that for? Right? Like that, yes. Right? Yes. When people ask that, you guys, it's not, they don't mean it. That's what they really mean when they say that. So she just says, oh, I don't know. I just felt like I needed to give you a hug. So he leaves, and what he tells her is that he has a feeling that he wants to go back to his wife. And so he calls his mother, and she tells him, well, go on back. And so he goes back, and they are, just laying in bed together with the baby and their older child, which he had another child, by the way. They had an older child, which again, he has been absent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Like she said, they had not talked throughout the entire pregnancy. Hadn't talked, but they had a kid. These are people that are married. They're technically still married. Well, go ahead.
And she was just like, he held me and it just felt so right. And I felt at peace. Girl, he got a whole girlfriend. Mm-hmm. He abandoned you your entire pregnancy. He you sent him the sonogram and homeboy didn't even reply.
Yeah, that's cold.
He ain't say nothing to you while you were giving birth. No words of encouragement, nothing. If anything, she said he was out in the hall asleep.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough.
That's tough. That's tough.
Okay. And you just inviting him back with open arms. Meanwhile, he still got a whole woman on the outside. Okay. So he's giving her all the mumbo jumbo we always get. I really want my family back. You know, this other thing's
No,
not
it's
working
not. That
out.
don't got to be mumbo jumbo now.
It is mumbo jumbo because I want my family back. It's not I apologize for destroying our family.
Well, he didn't. He didn't destroy the family. He told her ahead of time, "Hey, I'm not feeling this. I want a divorce." And then they temporarily got back together for a hot second. She got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Before he knew that she was pregnant, he was like, I can't do this. And then he left, and then she told him that he was pregnant, that she was pregnant. That's what happened. He
Yeah.
didn't abandon her when she was pregnant. I mean, he didn't
Yeah.
come around after he found out that she was
Yeah.
pregnant.
To abandon somebody while they're pregnant, which is exactly what happened.
Okay.
He
All
didn't
right.
ask to go to any of the, appointments. He didn't
Yeah, he
ask how she
didn't.
was doing, how was the baby doing. This man did not care. And what she's hearing from her mother-in-law is that he's having a good time. And him and the girlfriend seem happy.
Well, yes, but she says, the woman that's doing the video is saying that he was in a very toxic relationship. So she is
Because
getting
she has to tell
information.
her that. She has to tell herself that.
Yeah.
My point with this whole thing anyway, she ends up taking him back. I didn't hear anything about him apologizing to her. She never really, they just
Mind
kind of
you,
moved forward.
they moved forward, and this was a story that happened 6 years ago. So it's been 6 years of them being strong after all of
And
this.
now it's been 6 years of them being together.
Well, she
We
said
don't know that they're
strong.
strong. Yeah,
She
she
said that they're
said,
strong. Well,
I would love to hear what he says, which has been notably absent while she's been getting eaten up all over TikTok. And the reason she's been getting eaten up, and now, am I saying that you can't come back from infidelity? Absolutely not. You can. I've seen it. I've seen people come back from it. You can come back from infidelity. It's just basically it's going to be on a case by case basis, right? It's per
mhm.
couple, right? Like, what happened? Are y'all willing to work it out? Is there contrition on the person that was at fault here? Like, where are they taking accountability for it and all this stuff? And can y'all move forward with therapy and things like that? Absolutely. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm saying if we talking about case by case basis, her case ain't had no business casing. You understand?
What? What?
And what and the problem is, and the reason why people are eating her up is because she had an incredibly toxic and abusive situation.
Oh, okay. I don't necessarily agree with that. He was upfront.
Abuse is not always hitting people.
No, I mean, I know that, but he was very upfront
That doesn't
when
mean
he
that it's
left.
not abuse. If I walk up to somebody and I'm up front and I say you a bitch, and
Come on,
that's
this is the
up
main
front.
show. This is the main
That's not
show.
a cuss word.
Oh God, hold on. But that's not what he did. What he did said what he did was, hey, I tried to work this out. I can't do it. I want a divorce, and he left. And then he started dating a woman after he said he left. He wasn't playing both sides of the fence. He technically did not cheat. His fault was that he was not there during the pregnancy. And if she wants to take him back, and he went out there and he stepped out and he was like, you know what, home is a lot better than these streets.
Or like some people surmise, the girlfriend was like, "You got too much going on, and I don't want to do this no more." So he went back to his wife. But
I mean, that's real. That's people being real cynical. It could have been him absolutely making the decision.
but where did that come from?
It came from the fact that she just gave birth to their second child, and that's an
And all of a
eye-opening
sudden,
experience.
after leaving her twice, he loves her again.
Well, but a part that you left out is the day of the child's birth. They're laying in the bed together. He gets a text message. She looks at the phone and realizes it's the girlfriend. He leaves.
Yes,
He comes back with flowers
that he
that
got
day.
from the grocery store. Yeah, because that was when he called his mama and said, "I really wanted to be there." But does he want to be there with her, or does he want to be there with his child?
Maybe the whole package. Maybe, I don't know. Guess what? We don't get to hear from him.
And the thing of it is, flowers is not even a bare minimum of what she deserved in that situation.
What did she deserve in that situation?
Oh, I don't know, some god darn compassion, empathy. I mean, even if you don't want to be with her no more, she's still pregnant with your child. How can you just leave her and your other child that still exists?
Okay, I'm not defending the fact that he disappeared throughout that entire pregnancy, and we don't know what was going. He may have been coming by throwing cash. She said that they didn't talk or text. I find that hard to believe that he wasn't taking care of his child during that whole the other child during that whole process.
Well, now you're being an optimist. If I'm being cynical, you're being an optimist. The reason why people are eating her up though is really not about him. It's about her and talking to women as if the way that she responded to all of this makes her better than everybody else. See, some of
Yes.
y'all don't know. Some of y'all don't know God, and that's why that's why you're single and you're bitter, and you're hating on married people. No, it really sounded like your situation was not great with somebody who didn't want to be with you, and you allowed all of this to happen. But the problem is, you're saying it is because God wanted this to happen to you.
Okay. So
That's the
I have
problem. Sometimes God is not in y'all relationships. Y'all think just because y'all still together in these toxic ass relationships is because this is the man that God had for me and plan. Is it? Maybe the Lord is giving you signals that this isn't the person for you. Maybe everything that has happened up until this point, all the blatant things that were said and done directly to your face, was the Lord telling you this ain't the one for you.
okay. You sent this to me because
Yeah.
you wanted to hear what I thought.
What are your thoughts? Because I'm tired of this kind of toxic Christianity
Yeah.
towards women, where
Mhm.
women have to accept all self-sacrifice, and that is what gives them their value and their virtue, is the amount of sacrifice, a self-sacrifice that they make in these relationships, and the amount of crap that they can take, or that they're willing to take and turn the other cheek for some reason. If I'm turning the other cheek, it's to spit before I hit you in the face.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
okay, I hear what you're saying. All right. So, in one sense, she's right. To make a relationship work takes sacrifice from both people. People think that relationships are easy. Relationships are not easy. Just
I don't
because
know
two people
anybody who thinks that.
the greatest thing that somebody ever told me was just because two people love each other doesn't mean they're meant to be together. So
Yes.
there's a lot of people out there. I've loved, maybe I've only really loved two women, but I said that I've loved maybe four or five.
Yeah.
But we weren't meant to be together just because we loved each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're right. The idea that she is out here giving coaching, right, or
Right.
advice on relationships when her situation wasn't ideal. I'm not going to say not the best. I'm going to say not ideal. Not ideal to what people would tend to want to be in a romantic relationship. But
Yeah.
each romantic relationship is its own life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what people decide that they want to participate in their relationship is their business. It's kind of like pain,
Mm-hmm.
right? Love is pain. It's kind of like pain. Certain people can tolerate higher forms of pain than others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like in relationships as well. Some people are just like, hey, look, I'm not dealing with this. These are my deal breakers. I'm out. Okay, cool. That is you setting a boundary for you.
Right.
Other people are like, I'm willing to bend on a couple of things because I want to be in a relationship where we're working together towards something.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to be in what is it, a poly relationship
Yeah.
where,
Polyamorous. Yeah.
where they're dating multiple people. Like, I can't identify with that. But then again, I've had a conversation with one of my friends before. Why is it that I can't identify with a poly relationship? Why would that be something that I wouldn't want to be in a poly relationship? I mean, if I could have 2 women or 3 women, great, but not great because that's a lot of work and
It's a lot of
I
work.
don't want that.
Yeah.
But why? Okay, what is the reason why I would have an issue with another man being with my significant other? Is it because of a betrayal? Sure. Is it because of a territorial thing that I feel like that's my possession? I have to examine that and
Yeah.
find out
Some people are
what was
just monogamous, and that's also fine.
well, and I can't say that I was always monogamous. I am now,
Yeah.
but I haven't been in my life. So each relationship is different. And this was her relationship. I'm not going
Yeah.
to knock her for everything that she went through to get to where she wanted to get to.
Right.
Congratulations to her. She got what she
Absolutely.
wanted in the end.
But you ain't got no
You're
business
absolutely
coaching nobody else.
well, that's not necessarily true. There are other women out there just like her. So she does have a place in this world as far as coaching is concerned.
They
Where she
also need to
doesn't have
leave.
a place, well, that's your opinion, but everybody is entitled to their own way of life, right? Their own way of wanting to
I
live.
don't like these kinds of Christians peddling patriarchy and toxicity to
Well, these are
people
different arguments, though.
as if that's God's plan for them.
Well, these are different arguments, though, right? Like if you're saying, well, she shouldn't be a coach at all. No, that's not necessarily true.
Well,
There are
yeah, I
people out.
mean,
There are people,
there's a lane for everybody.
right?
I
But
don't
but
like the message. The
okay,
message is,
you don't like the message, but there are other people out there that do. And who's to say that you're right and they're wrong?
I don't think that what is there to be right and wrong about? If your relationship is hurting you, that's not something that's not in God's plan for you.
Well, well, hold on. What did I just say? In every relationship, there's sacrifice and there is pain.
Not like that.
Well,
Not
how long was her pain? How long was her pain?
almost a damn year.
Almost a year. How long were they married before that?
Not that long.
No, it was like 5 years. How long
I
have they been married? Yeah.
I don't think it was 5
Yeah.
years. I don't think
It's
they were
been
married that long.
it was at least 3 years.
She said it was early in her marriage. I don't know
Okay,
what
well,
that
they've been
yeah.
married for 6 years after this event.
Yes.
So in
Yes.
totality, let's just say that they went through that year. They've been married 6 years after, so that's 7 years. Let's say they were married a year before, so they've been married for 8 years. Okay,
Mhm.
so she suffered for a year, not even fully. It was during her pregnancy, which is 10 months, right? She suffered for 10 months to get to the point where 8 years into it, it was 10 months of real pain. So when you look at it from that standpoint, when you look at it from a
Mhm.
time-based standpoint, and she's happy now, well, who cares about that 10-month sacrifice that she had to go through? That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about
you're
when
absolutely
you
right. He only beat my ass for 2 weeks.
well,
So, after that, he ain't beat my ass no more. So that's that makes no sense to me. I don't care how
to
long.
you, but like I said, it's like a pain threshold. Each person
But
has their
again,
different levels of pain.
that's her own personal story.
Right,
Okay?
and
Yes.
so I said you're
I
talking different things here.
I'm only
You're
talking
talking
one thing. Her story, her being a coach, whatever, that's fine. My ultimate issue is with toxic Christianity pushing this narrative onto women specifically, where there is zero accountability for the man and all of the onus of taking on the emotional labor and the healing and the forgiveness is on the woman. And the man
well,
has to do nothing but tell you he wants to come home.
we're also hearing one side of the story, and you know how I am. There's her side, there's his side, and then there's the truth.
Right.
So we don't know what she's like as a woman. And it sounds like from the story, she's a little off kilter.
Yes, because she's talking about she's in bed, they're in bed together, and they're just, holding each other or whatever. And she's telling him about all the prophetic dreams and everything. And God even used her son and all of this. And he's just like, she's like, I can tell he's just like, okay, whatever. Yeah, because he is like, okay, whatever. Because he know he got to deal with this now for the rest of his life because he's made a decision to come back.
All right, but I will say that I have been in situations where I have dated women and I've met them under circumstances where I was like, oh, this must be a sign from God, because I wasn't even supposed to be here at that moment to meet
Mm.
her at this particular time. There's been several times where I've
Yeah.
convinced myself, and I don't know that they weren't, right? They may not been that lifelong relationship,
Yeah.
but in
They could have been a
almost
lesson.
right, in almost all of my relationships, there has been a lesson that I have learned. So maybe it was, maybe she did get that sign, and he didn't get it. Look, you and I both look at this situation and we both see this woman as off kilter. I'm going to say she's off kilter, a
Yeah.
little off kilter, that we can't identify with it, but there's a large segment of the population that can. And who are we to tell anybody else what they should believe is right or wrong? You're saying
Because
you're coming
it's
from
oppressive.
well,
It's
some women,
oppressive and
some
it puts
people want to be oppressed. Some people want to be oppressed.
and
That's
I'm
what you're
trying to
not.
liberate everybody.
Not everybody wants to be liberated. Like I said before in previous episodes, ignorance is bliss. There's a reason why ignorant people are extremely happy, because they don't know nothing. It's easier not to know anything and just live your life with blinders on. Some people want to be oppressed.
No, well, that's
I mean,
ridiculous.
we're using this word very
No, it's
oppressed is
oppression.
probably, well, okay. Well, some people want to, right? Some people want to be under that cocoon of oppression because it's comfortable.
But it's the people who don't. Right? It's the women who are in a situation like that who come across her video who should be leaving, who should not be trying to hold on to somebody who clearly doesn't want to be with them or doesn't like them.
Well, who
Right?
who said he didn't want to be with her, because she's been with her for 6 years after the fact?
Right, because the girlfriend broke up with him.
I mean, he probably can get another girlfriend. just because if he got one, he can get another one.
Who says he doesn't?
Well, okay, maybe.
We
I
don't
don't.
know. I'm not going to
He
talk
was
about their
upfront.
specific
Right, he was upfront and
relationship.
honest. That's the reason why I'm going to assume that he wouldn't have a side piece, because he was upfront and honest about the woman that he was dating when they were separated.
I'm talking about the woman out there that comes across her video that thinks that she should
Yeah.
hold on to a situation that is not serving her. And there's a lot of times in this church that they want you to hold on to situations that are not serving you, where he is beating your ass or he is cheating on you. Or
He wasn't being physically violent.
No, but I'm telling you, I've heard story after story of them going to their church home and stuff like
And I'm
that
gonna
to
really
get
need you to stop
advice.
cussing. I'm gonna really need you to stop cussing.
I
This is
didn't cuss
not.
again.
Yeah, you did. You did beating ass. That's cussing.
Ass is not a cuss word.
It is. Stop saying it.
It is a
Oh,
donkey.
no, that's not the context in which you're using it. Come on
Yes,
now. Stop.
I'm fine. I'll call him a donkey.
Stop cussing. That's all I want to say is stop cussing.
I don't think I'm cussing. If
That's a
everybody
cuss
thinks I'm
word.
cussing, then let me know. But I don't think I'm cussing. But anyway, and they go to their church home for advice on what to do, and they're told to stay. They're told to stick it out. They're told to stand by their vows when he's not standing by his, or vice versa. Okay, because this is not just something that happens to women, but it's like, when are we going to say that this institution of marriage, right, isn't enough to keep people in situations that are not serving them and that are not benefiting them? When are we going to let go of this obsession with marriage? When are we going to let go of thinking that pain is in God's plan? Because
When are we going to let go of just because you're in pain, you give up?
Bruce, I'm saying again, it's a case by case basis, but there is
Yeah,
somebody
you're
out
speaking
there.
you're speaking in generalities here.
Right.
You're
Okay.
speaking in generalities, but you're not specifically saying.
I'm saying, and if you're in a situation that does not serve you,
But how does anybody know what serves them or doesn't serve them unless they go through the process of figuring that out?
Yeah, I mean, that's always gonna be a process if you trying to figure that out.
Right. So the fact of
And
the matter is, nobody can really tell you what you're supposed to be doing with your life. People can give advice or coaching or counseling, but even people who are licensed therapists give wrong advice sometimes.
I don't think a therapist is supposed to give you advice.
They're
Then
supposed to help you through the process.
right, yeah.
Well, yeah, sometimes they give you advice. Sometimes, well, I don't know.
There is a toxicity within Christianity that specifically affects women. There's a toxicity in Christianity that specifically affects Black people, right? Oh, this life be over soon. Heaven lasts always. Like that kind of thing where it's like, oh, it's okay if we suffer here. We'll get our reward in heaven. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it might not be
Everybody,
ridiculous. I believe it.
no, everybody
Keep your
has the
eyes on the
right
prize. Oh Lord.
to life. Everybody has the right to happiness. Everybody has the right to joy.
Yes, you are coming really from Sister Soldier perspectives, and I get it. I respect it, but I'm just saying.
And people like that are toxic.
Well, I could honestly say your mentality on saying to people, "Hey, the way you're living is toxic," right?
No,
Like
it's
you
not.
calling out
Calling
other
out
people.
toxicity does not make me toxic. Calling out racism doesn't make me a racist.
No,
Calling out
calling
sexism
out
doesn't
people
make
who
me
want to
sexist.
calling out people who want to live a certain way of life that they're happy with, and
I'm
saying that they're wrong for doing it
What
is
you want to
toxic.
do in your personal life is fine. What I'm telling you is you don't have a right to be telling other people when your stuff ain't straight.
She felt like her stuff was straight. She was talking from an experience of, hey,
And
look,
you
I
don't have the
soldiered
right
through.
to tell people that this is God's plan for them because you don't know what that plan is. I don't know what that plan is. But
Right.
I
You could say
definitely
God's plan for me, as I see it, this is what happened. His plan for you might be different, but have faith. I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that. I'm
you can
saying,
say
look,
what
they 6 years later, they still together. So
yeah, it's a whole lot of people that's still together.
this part was not supposed to go this long, and
Well,
now
you
I don't
asked
even.
me to talk about it,
I
and
did ask you to talk
you
about it.
can
You
always
clearly.
cut it out and put it someplace else then.
No,
Yeah.
I'm. Don't get mad at
Yeah,
me.
keep
Don't get
it
mad at
in.
you said that specifically, and you said I want to see what
Yeah,
your thought
and
process is.
I also said it didn't need to be for the show. I just wanted to see what you thought about it, and of course,
Oh
you're gonna
yeah,
be devil's advocate, which is what
I'm
you
not.
always do, and take a position that is not even a position that you believe in, just so
I
you
don't.
could be contrary.
I no. This is what I. This is what I truly believe.
That's
I don't tell
ridiculous.
them. I don't have the right to tell anybody how to live their life, and I won't tell anybody how to live their life.
Nah,
I will only tell people.
if you see
No,
somebody in a situation that is not serving them, you do not love that person if you don't say nothing.
nope, that's not true. Now, what I have done in the past when I see people in situations that are not serving them from my perspective,
Mhm.
I don't say, because they're not going to listen to me anyway. I don't say, hey, this isn't serving you, because that's not what they want to hear. I just point out certain stuff. Say, hey, did you look at this? Or hey, what do you think
But you
about
say
this?
something.
I say something, but I don't
Yeah.
say, hey, this isn't serving you, because I don't think that's effective. I know for a
Well,
fact.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't even understand what that means. Like, don't
Right.
even understand what that kind of language means. I
And
mean, you should
and
meet people where they
and
at.
what I may think is not serving them might not be right.
I feel like there's always a line.
Yeah, there are clear-cut things where like, "Hey, man,
Yeah,
you about to die if you keep going in this situation." And
right.
then, yes, then you say something and you try to help that person. But up until that point, which is an extreme situation, up
Mhm.
until that point, it's not up
Then
to
people's
me to tell.
personal marriage that's your
Yeah.
marriage. Like,
Yeah,
that don't
it's
have
not
nothing
up
to
to
do with
me to
me.
tell people how to live their lives because I don't want nobody telling me how to live my life. The only thing I ever tell people is if you're so entrenched on one side, take
Mhm.
a step back, deep breath, and then attempt to see the other side. So you say I'm a devil's advocate, and yes, I am, but it's just my attempt to try and make to try to understand the other perspective.
Yeah, but the devil don't need an advocate. This is
who said it's the devil?
Because it's called the devil. It's devil's advocate.
Yeah, I know that, but who said that that's being the devil's advocate? Who says it's the devil's work that's behind it?
The term is devil's advocate.
Okay, you just threw that out there.
Which you just said, yes, I am a devil's advocate. And I was like, well, the devil don't need an advocate.
Okay, but I was... That's not what I meant. You know it. You jackass. You know what I am done with?
Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce is done. He's officially done with this conversation.
Yes.
But it's the same issue I have. Is the last thing I say about it. It's the same issue I have with prosperity gospel. That thing is, if you pray, the Lord will get you there. He'll work it out. Jesus will work it out. How you gonna pay your rent? All this stuff. And the implication
that's how it happens.
That's the song. How you gonna pay your rent when all your money's spent? Jesus is working out, right? The problem with that is the implication is if my stuff ain't working out, I'm not praying hard enough, or I don't know God enough.
Well, maybe you don't.
No, it's because there are people who have things who don't pray, and there are people who don't have things who pray all the time. So that's none of that is an indicator of our closeness with God, or
maybe they're not praying right.
The devil don't need an advocate. He don't.
Look. This is the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for 150 episodes, because I'm through with my sister right now. I'm through with her.
But normally, too bad, we still got more work to do. So go ahead.
Typically, I would kick it back to her and say, hey, what do you want to say to the people out there? She done said enough. Y'all done heard a lot from her perspective.
I said 2 things.
You ain't said no 2 damn things. You said a whole lot of things.
I said
and now you got me cussing on the episode. Ladies and gentlemen.
You didn't cuss.
I said, damn.
That's not a cuss word.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not about to argue about what's a cuss word and what's not a cuss word. But
I think we should have the debate. I think we should talk about it.
I'm done with this debate. Look, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. 150, and we're going to do 150 more. My sister did not think that we was actually going to make it to this point, because she didn't know how determined and driven her brother was. She thought it was like, we're going to do a couple of episodes and then Bruce would be disinterested in it. Yeah. And we won't have to do it no more. And now she's stuck for the rest of her life doing these shows.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to make some real money off this show. But that's not the reason why we do it. The reason why we do it is to give people an unsolicited perspective and a new way of thinking on life. That's what it is.
Okay.
The hubris.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's a lot of hubris and a lot of ego in that.
Hubris and a lot of ego in that.
We think that we're the people to give you that perspective.
Hey,
that
look, everybody, there's a lot of people out there that think that, but hey, look, people that want to try to change things have to have a little bit of an ego. We are not narcissistic in any way, but do we have a little bit of ego and to think that, hey, maybe there's 1 or 2 people out there that will listen to something that we said that might think a little bit differently or open their minds to something else or a different possibility of way of life. Hey, we won. That's what we want, right? It's just inspire people to think about things in a new way. So thank you. Thank you for rocking with us, and we're going to keep going. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Whew, that was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast. But the real party is on our Patreon page. After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you're really feeling generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.